Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I thank the honourable member for the question. At the outset, I wish to acknowledge the important work undertaken by the Fiji delegation to COP30 in Belém, Brazil, which was led by the Honourable Moses Mbulitavo, Minister for Environment and Climate Change, and also Honourable Naisa Tuinathel, Assistant Minister. The Fiji delegation played a significant role in advancing global conversation on climate ambition, particularly regarding emissions reductions across all major sectors. COP30 reaffirmed that achieving the 1.5-degree temperature goal requires urgent mitigation efforts in maritime transport, a sector critical to Fiji's trade, connectivity, and inter-island mobility. The outcomes of COP30 strongly emphasize alignment with negotiations at the International Maritime Organization, IMO, recognizing the IMO as the specialized UN agency mandated to regulate shipping emissions. Thus, the work undertaken at COP30 directly complements and reinforces Fiji's engagement in the IMO, particularly through the Maritime Environment Protection Committee and the development of the Net Zero Framework. The second extraordinary session of the Marine Environment Protection Committee, MEPC, was held on the 14 to 17 October 2025 at the IMO headquarters in London, with participation from 127 member states, including the Pacific Seats, small island developing states, of course, including Fiji. The meeting was critical for advancing the global agenda for decarbonizing international shipping. The session was followed by the 20th Intersessional Working Group on Greenhouse Gas Emissions, which met to further technical work required to support the IMO's climate commitments. The IMO's Net Zero Framework, NZF, agreed in principle at MEPC to propose a global approach to achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions from shipping by or around 2050. It introduces a global fuel standard to progressively limit the carbon intensity of marine fuels and global emissions pricing mechanisms, which ships pay levies based on carbon intensity. Ships using high carbon fuel should pay US $380 per ton of CO2 equivalent emissions, while lower carbon exceedances attracted US $100 per ton. Ships operating on zero and near zero Z fuels would be eligible for rewards through the IMO Net Zero Fund. For Fiji, alongside Pacific Seats and the wider Six-Pack Coalition, it strongly supported the adoption of the Net Zero Framework. Our delegation emphasized the critical importance for maintaining the 1.5 degrees pathway and ensuring a just and equitable transition for vulnerable developing states. Despite the strong advocacy, the NZF was not adopted. The decision was deferred by 1 year following a vote of 57 to 49, reflecting deep divisions over whether the NZF should proceed under the IMO's long-standing acceptance procedure or through explicit acceptance, which several major economies argued was necessary due to technical scale and the redistributive nature of the proposed fund. So it is important to note there are a number of the countries voted against the adoption of the NZF, did so under considerable pressure exerted by more economically powerful member states whose geopolitical and commercial interests influenced the voting outcome. This significantly impacted the ability of the IMO to reach timely agreement on a framework that is vital for the decarbonization of global shipping and safeguarding the interests of vulnerable nations such as Fiji. Much of the session was consumed by procedural debates. Several member states questioned whether MARPOL Annex 6 has the legal mandate to administer global economic mechanism, while others sought assurances on revenue allocation, technology transfer, and capacity building for developing nations. Concerns also arose regarding transparency and informal consultations, which contributed to mistrust and ultimately prevented consensus on adopting the NZF, Net Zero Framework. Following the adjournment, the ISWG proceeded under its mandate from MEPC. Despite uncertainties, discussions advanced on guidelines needed to implement the NZF, the refinement of the life cycle GHG assessment framework, and the development of the terms of reference for the fifth IMO GHG study. Fiji's positions on ZNZ fuels, reward mechanisms, governance structures, and representation was strongly reflected on the working group's report. Fiji also joined the newly established NZF, Net Zero Framework Supporters Group, coordinated by Mexico and the United Kingdom, to strengthen coordination ahead of the reconvened session in October 2026. Speaker, sir, the delay in adopting the Net Zero Framework carries significant implications for Fiji's maritime transport system. The NZF would have unlocked critical climate finance to modernize Fiji's fleet, support hybrid and electrical vessel technologies, and expand solar-powered jetty infrastructure across the islands. Its postponement delays this much-needed support. The absence of a clear global regulatory pathway also creates uncertainty for shipping operators, slowing investment in energy-efficient vessels and renewable maritime technologies. Delays in deploying zero-emission vessels internationally also hinders Fiji's domestic maritime transition, affecting alignment with our nationally determined contributions, the Transport Decarbonization Implement Strategy and the Transport Sector Master Plan. Furthermore, without a global levy on high-carbon maritime fuels, Fiji remains vulnerable to volatile oil prices, with freight costs, inter-island travel, and the long-term sustainability of the government shipping franchise scheme. In conclusion, despite the setback, MEPC remains resolute in its climate leadership and its commitment to safeguarding the interests of vulnerable states. Fiji will continue to champion globalization and multilateralism within the IMO process, recognizing that only through a strong, cooperative, rules-based international system can we ensure fair, ambitious, equitable, just, and science-aligned outcomes for the global maritime sector. Fiji will continue to work closely with our Pacific partners, the NZF Supporters Group, and the wider international community to advocate for the timely adoption of the Net Zero Framework at the reconvened extraordinary session in 2026, with ambition firmly aligned to the 1.5 degree limit. So I also wish to inform the House that Fiji will continue to maintain an active presence in all upcoming negotiations. Fiji will be represented at the ISWG GHG meeting scheduled for 20 to 24 April, and subsequently the MAC 84 session in April, and we will continue to reinforce our positions on transparency, a just and equitable transition, enhanced support for seeds, and the urgent need for global measures to decarbonize international shipping. Through continued engagement, we will ensure that our national interests, regional priorities, and the long-term maritime resilience objectives are strongly reflected in the global decision-making process. Navalu.